Are you ready to stop the self-sabotage and create the life you desire? Well, in order for that to happen, you need to break free from the bad beliefs that are holding your success hostage. You need to optimize the stress by turning it into extra energy for success. And those hurtful habits? Well, we need to give that pain a purpose for progress. Welcome to Stop the Self-Sabotage and Create the Life You Desire podcast. Have you ever asked yourself the question that if it's the most wonderful time of the year, how did you wind up in a situation where you're wasting your time with a bunch of whacked out weirdos? Whether it might be old friends that no longer fit your values or those family members that we keep trying to stuff ourselves into a relationship. Yep, it is time to draw those boundaries. And why didn't you do that in the first place? Why did you wind up in the same situation that you have repeated again and again and again? Well, it's for a very good reason. Every time you think about cutting those people off and saying, you know what, I can't move forward with them, guilt shows up. That's right. Every single time you set a boundary, you might as well plan on feeling guilty. See, guilt is very good. I was so honored for over a decade in my life to work at a company where I was actually mothered and mentored by some very wise Jewish women. And they taught me guilt is good because guilt says you have violated a value. Shame, on the other hand, doesn't help anybody. Shame says you're broken, you're flawed, and you cannot be fixed. Okay, so if guilt is good, then why does it hold us back from drawing those healthy boundaries and deciding that we have to be very intentional about who we invite into our life, especially this time of year? Well, that's because at some point in your life, you were trained not to have boundaries. You were programmed to put somebody in a position of power over you. I don't know if you were a little kid, teenager, or maybe even a young adult, but you were taught that you couldn't live by your values. You had to take theirs, and that they didn't have to play by the rules. They could violate your values. Didn't matter what you wanted. They were going to tell you what to do. And if you tried to step outside of that and break those chains that were bonding you in a trauma way to that person and that experience, then they used guilt and shame against you to bring you back into their circle of success, where you needed to live in such a way that you were fulfilling their dysfunctional wants at the expense of your healthy, functional needs. In fact, that's one of the things that I work with my clients, the longer term clients, all of them right now. We're working on boundaries. And so you discovered your healthy needs versus their dysfunctional wants meant that you were going to have to give up what was going to be the best for you to make life okay for someone else. You're going to need to get out of that. But when you do, you're going to experience guilt because that guilt says you're violating a value. Problem is, the value you're violating isn't even yours. It was what you were given to fulfill, to make happen for somebody else. So you need to start looking at what you value because you've got goals, you've got dreams you want to turn into reality. Well, values are the journey to make it happen. And once you get a goal,
Well, you're going to enjoy it anywhere from 3 days to 3 weeks, and then you're going to become habituated by it, and it's no longer going to hold the same emotional expression. And this is the reason why you go setting off for another goal. So it's actually going to take you longer to get there than it is in the enjoyment once you arrive. So you need to enjoy the journey just as much as you do the destination. By the way, the destination isn't the dream. Just to give you some insight, the true destination is revealing who you really are. But to do that, you have to discover your values. All right. This is what I'm doing. See, I live by what's known as reach and then teach. This is how I integrate my strategic intervention coaching that I've been trained in, plus the hypnosis. Well, when you reach out to me, we have a conversation over the fact that am I the best fit for you? And then if I am, we move forward into a session, but you get the choice based on what you value. And I want to give you a gift. And that gift for the holiday season, and it's only going to be as long as I've got time available, is I'm not just going to give you a consult. I'm going to give you a coaching consult where I'm going to teach you what it is that you value and how you've been living by values that are out of harmony. They are incongruent with who you really are. So even if you decide not to work with me, you still have something that you can use, a system where you can begin to get some relief. You're not going to get resolution, but you will at least get relief from what you are experiencing. So this is what you want to do to be able to claim that consult. You want to text me at 1-636-699-7791. And in the text, you want to say holiday consult. You also want to give me your time zone. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a link in my reply text where it will automatically populate with what I have coming up in your time zone. But sometimes that might be several days out. So I'll also put in there one opening that I'll have that'll be really quick. So you'll have two options. One, a consult that I'll have coming up that won't be on my calendar that you can take advantage of. I'll give it to you in your time zone. And then the other one will be a link that you can click onto my calendar that will also give you consult times, holiday consult times, but they're probably going to be several days out. And that way you can decide what's going to be the best fit for you. Okay. So let's begin to wrap this up. Setting boundaries is always going to equal guilt. Get used to it. How do you upgrade? You need to start living your life based on what you value instead of what someone else has programmed and conditioned you to do, where you then have to sacrifice your healthy functional needs for their dysfunctional wants. Okay, 1-636-699-7791. Text me holiday consult and your time zone. And let's get you out of the weirdos that are going to suck. It's the most wonderful time of the year, right out of your life. And instead, replace it with what you really want, which is revealing the real you. Merry Christmas.